everyone, and welcome to Crystal's Crochet Cubbyhole. Today is Tutorial Tuesday, and today we are going to make a washcloth, and we are going to use the Suzette stitch. So I'll try to do better this time and keep my hands in the in the camera. Sorry about that last time. But some items we'll need is some cotton yarn, and I'm using I love this yarn, or I love this cotton. It is the color Harvest. I love the colors. It calls for a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. I am going to be using a 6 or a J hook because I like mine a little bit more drapier. This is 100% cotton. It's 3 ounces, 85 grams, 153 yards. I have used a little bit off this, but I think there's plenty left for a washcloth. So that's the yarn we're going to be using. And of course, like I said again, a 6 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a darning needle to sew in your ends, a tape measure, because I want to make mine as close to 10-inch square as possible, a pair of scissors, and then I'm going to use a stitch marker today. I'm trying to use some of the suggestions that were down in the comments of the last tutorial. So I do appreciate all those comments and suggestions. So let's see. The Suzette stitch, when we do this washcloth, it'll be the same on the front and back. It's one that you can turn either way and it looks the same. It's a 1-row repeat. The Suzette stitch is done in multiples of 2 plus 1. So it needs to be an even number of stitches, and then you add 1. And I also want to point out that the stitch marker is a stitch marker that was given to me by Ellie from Ellie LeVay's Crafts and More. She does make these and sell them, and they are absolutely gorgeous. This is like a little inkwell with a feather in it. I love it. So let's see. So I guess we'll get started. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Until we need it. So we are going to start with a slip knot. You wrap the yarn around your fingers, and this is how I do it, and then I stick it through, pull through. And I try to, it doesn't have to be real long on the end, but you know, enough to what you feel comfortable sewing in easy. So we'll do that. And again, this is multiples of 2 plus 1. So let me chain, and we'll see how many we can come up with for 10 inches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And let's see. I don't think that's quite. Oh, that thing's loud, isn't it? Okay. Let's do 30. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now let's see. Oh, and see this little dot right here, guys? I put that there so I know that I need to stay around that dot. So I don't get out of the camera, hopefully. So let's see how long this is now. And that is, let's see, oh, that's about 10 inches. So that's 30, which is multiples of 2 plus 1 more. So it'll be a chain of 31. Now, to start, you will, in the second chain from the hook, this one, not this first one, but this one right here, you will do 1 single crochet. And then you will do a 1 double crochet in the same chain, okay? And I'll do that again, and I'll go slower so you can see how to do those stitches. Okay, next we will skip 1 chain. So we're going to skip this chain here, And we're going in this second chain. So we're going to go in, wrap the yarn around our hook, pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook, wrap your yarn around and pull through both loops. That's a single crochet. Now to do a double crochet in the same stitch, in the same chain, we're going to wrap our yarn around, go in through that same chain, wrap our yarn around our hook, pull through. We have 3 loops on our hook, wrap our yarn around, pull through 2 loops. You have 2 loops on your hook. Wrap your yarn around and pull through both of those. And that is a double crochet. And I know this, you all probably already know this. Don't mean to make it too, I don't want to insult anybody. Okay. I am enjoying learning how to do this just as much as I know several have wanted tutorials, but I'm learning to do tutorials and I'm enjoying learning. You guys are so kind and nice and sweet to me, and I love you both. I love you all. Can't even talk. Okay, so we skip a chain, and in the next chain we do a single crochet, go in, wrap your yarn around, pull up, 2 loops on your hook, wrap your yarn around, pull through both loops. Then a double crochet in that same chain, wrap your yarn around, go in through that loop, wrap your yarn around your hook, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, wrap your yarn around, pull through 2 loops, leaves 2 loops on your hook, wrap your yarn around, pull through both of those loops. And you will continue that all the way down to the very end, and I'll meet you at the end right before, well, at your last double crochet. Your single crochet and double crochet combined, you should have 1 stitch left at the end, or 1 loop. So I'll meet you down there, and I'll see you in just a minute when we get near the end. Okay, guys, I just wanted to do a quick reminder. You always skip a loop. So skip a chain, and then the next chain you will do a single crochet and a double crochet. Skip a loop, and in the next loop you will do a single crochet and a double crochet. And we repeat that all the way down. So skip a loop, single crochet, double crochet in the same loop. Then skip a loop, single crochet, and double crochet into the same loop. So let me go a little bit further and meet you in just a minute right before we get to the end. Okay, we're coming up on the end. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops left. So again, I'm going to skip this one, then do a single and a double in the next one. Skip one, single and double in the next. Now that leaves us 1 loop at the end. Now in the very last chain, you will put 1 single crochet. So you do 1 single crochet in that last loop, in that last chain. Then you will chain 1 and turn your work. Now here's what we have. Let's see if I can get that out of the way a little bit. There's what we have so far, our first row. And I think it's probably, hopefully, still measuring close to 10 inches. It'll be pretty close. It's not too straight, like 9.5, but I'm going to try to just make it square, so we're good there. Excuse me. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Okay. Now, in this very first chain, right there, very first chain, right after you go in and you do a single crochet and a double crochet. Then again, you're going to skip your next stitch, and in the second stitch, you're going to put a single crochet and a double crochet. skip a stitch, and you can always, if you look down from the top, you'll be able to see your loops, your V's. So in the second one, skip one, and in the second one, you're going to do a single. Sorry. And then a double. Skip one. Then the next one, you'll do a single and a double. And by doing this, if you'll notice, we're going to skip one, and then we'll do it in the next one. See how these every other one looks a little bit larger or whatever? I don't know if you can tell. This stitch was the one I did a single and a double in together, and then I skipped. So it's kind of like rotating back and forth, staggering it. But it makes a beautiful pattern, a beautiful stitch. So we will continue. Oh, and I wanted to mention, me and Chris, we did the one video yesterday together, and then we did a little short, and Chris was acting silly. He is really concerned everybody will think he's stupid. But really, in actual, he is a genius. I tell him that all the time. He's a sweetheart. He likes being silly a little bit, but that's really out of his comfort zone, because he's a very serious, logical thinking person, and for him to be able to act up and act silly in front of you guys is really a compliment. I want you to realize that he's usually not comfortable with doing that. And we just had fun. We were just having fun. It was just cute. I do need my monetization. I do want it. And I do need watch hours. But we did it mostly for fun. And I love doing things with him. So I hope you all enjoyed it. And that nobody was, felt offended by it or anything like that. Or felt like I was pushing. Nobody has to watch anything. You don't have to. I love you guys, and I'm just learning all this stuff. And so if I did something that I wasn't supposed to, then somebody can reach out to me and let me know. But, yes, so there's what we got going on so far. Let's finish this row and see what it looks like. So we're going to skip one, single crochet, double crochet into the same stitch. Skip the next stitch. And you can always, like I said, turn it up. Make sure you're skipping that next stitch and going into the second stitch. And single crochet, double crochet. I might get the hang of this, guys. Skip a stitch, single crochet, double crochet. Skip a stitch, single crochet, double crochet into the same stitch. Skip one, and then the next, a single and a double together in that one stitch. This yarn is actually very beautiful. I did a binky holder. You may have seen it in that review. I will show it again in one of my other videos. But yeah, skip a stitch. Next stitch we do a single and a double into the same stitch. Next, skip a stitch, then single and double into that same next stitch. Second stitch from where your hook's at. So you're skipping the next stitch, and in the second stitch from your hook, you're doing a single and a double. This is a fun stitch to do. It's pretty simple and easy. Skip a stitch, next stitch, single and double. And it makes just a beautiful pattern. In fact, I think I've done a blanket with this stitch pattern before too. So skip a stitch, single, and double. And now again, guys, we are going to skip a stitch. We've got 2 stitches left. See, here's one, and then right here's the last stitch in the row. And I will start using the stitch marker now so you can see what I'm talking about. But we will skip the stitch, We'll skip that stitch, and in this stitch we do just a single crochet only. And then we'll chain 1 and turn. And since that was our last stitch, let me go back over here. Let me back up right here and let me show you. That was our last stitch right there. So I'm going to take my stitch marker, and this helps you know when you got into the last stitch and you don't miss it. And in that last stitch, well, let me see if there we go. In that last stitch, I'm going to place my stitch marker in that. Oh, that's pretty. So that was our last stitch. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And you would probably want 2 stitch markers here because you've got one on this side and one on this side. And see how beautiful that pattern is? So you could put a stitch marker over here. So let me see. Let's do this way. I'm going to take that out. And over here where my last stitch was, just so you'll see coming up. So you could use 2 stitch markers. I don't use them if I don't have to. But right there's the last stitch of that row, or the first stitch of the last row. So if now we're going to, we chained 1 and we turned. We're going to go into the very first hole right there. We're going to go in and do a single and a double. Skip 1, then do a single and a double. Now I'm going to pause the video and I will come back near the end and when we get close to the end to show you what to do down there. Okay, we're coming up on the end again. So I've got just a few stitches left. So we're going to skip a stitch and do a single and a double in the same stitch. Skip a stitch. Now this is our last stitch. There's the stitch marker. So in that very last stitch of the row, we do a single crochet only. So we'll do a single crochet. I'm going to put my stitch marker back in place for the next time around. Okay. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now sorry about that. I went ahead and added another stitch marker on this end so that I've got one on both ends so you can see what's going on, and it'll help you keep, your straight edges. And then you can always add borders to any of your washcloths. But this stitch marker is one that Lisa from Ladybird Loves makes, and in fact, I'm giving away a few of these in that 1-year Potiversary celebration. So this is one of those. It's like a little hank of yarn. Isn't it cute? I love them. So I picked a color too. If you got something like this that's colored, I picked a color that was different from the color yarn I'm using, so it didn't blend in real well, and I can see it really good, especially if it's a larger project. So down here is our stitch marker from before. That's the first stitch of this row. So I'm going to remove the stitch marker, keep in place where I'm at. This first stitch right here, we're going to do a single and a double in the same stitch. Now I'm going to fold over like this. Now we did 2 stitches in there, so when I put my stitch marker in, it doesn't go in this stitch right here. It goes in the very first stitch I made, which is my single. So I'm going to put it in my single, and there we go, and it marks the last stitch of the row when we go back down on that side. So now we're going to skip a stitch and then do a single and a double in this next stitch. Skip a stitch and do a single and a double. Okay, I'm going to pause until I get to the end of the row, and when I'm close to the end of the row, I'll do that with you again, and then I'll do like 1 more row or 2 with you, and then I will pause the video and let you finish it to the length, to the width you want it, and then we'll come back and finish off, okay? So hold on just a minute. I'll be right back with you. Okay, guys, we're coming to the end, so I'm going to skip this stitch, and then in the second stitch from the hook, I'm going to do a single and a double. Skip a stitch, and this is our last stitch of this row. So, and you can always like go ahead and insert your hook so you'll know where you're at. And I'm going to do only a single in this last stitch. But I'm going to remove my stitch marker. I'm going to do a single crochet. I'm going to replace my stitch marker in that last stitch I just did. And then I'm going to chain one and turn my work. Well, I don't do a stitch marker yet. Duh. Okay, so now I'm going to do in that very first stitch, sorry, that sounded a little loud. I'm going to do a single, and you could go ahead right there at that single and put your stitch marker in then so you don't get confused. And then in that same stitch, I'm going to do a double. And I'm going to go on, finish down the row. So let's see. That's pretty. Love the pattern. It's a beautiful pattern. And the colors of this yarn are beautiful too. So I'm going to, when I get down to toward the end again, I'll pause. I'm going to come back and we'll finish this row. I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, I'm coming close to the end. Oops, got my stitch marker hung up in my yarn. So I'm skipping a stitch, and in the next stitch I'm going to do a single and a double. Skip a stitch, do a single and a double in the same stitch, the next stitch. Okay, skip a stitch, and then a single and double into the next stitch. Okay, now we have 2 stitches left, and the last stitch is this one right here. So I'm going to remove my stitch marker, and in this last stitch I'm going to do only a single crochet. And then I'm going to chain one and turn. Now this right here is my first chain of this row, so it's the second one from the hook when you turn, if you're looking at it flat like that. But it's, if you notice on the side here, it's the very first stitch. So in that very first stitch, we're going to do a single, insert our stitch marker to keep track of our first stitch, which will be our last stitch going back. And in that same stitch, I'm going to do a double. So skip a stitch, single crochet, double crochet. Skip a stitch, single crochet, double crochet. And I will meet you closer to the end. Okay, we're coming up on the end. Here's what we've got going on so far. Beautiful. So we're going to skip a stitch, and then in the second stitch from where our hook's at, we're going to do a single and a double. Skip a stitch, and in the next stitch do a single and a double. Okay, now here we have 2 stitches left, so I'm going to keep track of that very last stitch. If it's hard for you to see, just kind of hold on to it, or even leave the stitch marker in there until you get your hook in. So we're skipping a stitch, and in this last stitch we're going to do a single crochet only. And then we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And chain 1 does not count. So there's the chain 1. Right here, the next stitch over. So it's like you're skipping this stitch. You're skipping the chain 1. And in the very first stitch, you're doing a single and a double. Now I'm going to go get my stitch marker and make sure that not this stitch, not the second stitch, not the double, but the single is where my stitch marker goes to mark the last of the row, or the beginning of the row. So there we go. And I'm going to keep doing that. You keep repeating it. You're doing a single and a double, skip 1, single, double, skip 1, all the way to the end. And when you get down to the last 2 stitches, you skip that 1 stitch, and the very last stitch gets a single crochet only. Then you'll chain 1 and turn your work and keep going until you get it the width you want it, and I'll meet you in a little bit. Okay, guys, let's see if I can back this up so you can see all of it. Here's what I've got so far. And again, it's approximately 10 inches that way. So I want to go 10 inches this way. So I've got to do probably 1 more row. So I'll do the last row with you. And I removed my stitch markers because it's easier for me to just keep going. But anyway, I had chained 1 and I turned. So I want to go into that very first stitch right there. It's the second chain from the hook, because I chained 1 and that chain 1 does not count. So you go in through that that second chain from the hook, and do a single crochet and a double crochet. Skip 1. Then a single and a double into the next stitch. Skip 1. Single and a double into the next stitch, and they are going into the same stitch together. Skip 1, single crochet, double crochet. Skip 1, single crochet, double crochet. Skip 1, single and a double. Skip 1, single, and a double in the next. Skip 1, single and a double into the next. Single crochet, double crochet. Skip 1. In the next stitch, single crochet and double crochet. Guys, it's beautiful here today. It's like 70 degrees, sunshiny. Skip 1, then in the next stitch a single crochet and a double crochet. So I'm really enjoying the weather. Skip 1, single crochet, double crochet. And any point when you're watching the tutorials, you're welcome to rewind, forward, jump forward, whatever you need to do to get where you're wanting to be at in the spot you want to look at. Skip 1, then the next stitch a single and a double. Skip 1, and a single and a double into the same stitch. Whoops, forgot my loop over. Did y'all see that? Skip 1, single crochet, and then a double crochet. Skip 1, then a single crochet and a double crochet. Skip 1, and then the very last chain, it will be only a single crochet, and I'm going to chain 1, but I'm going to cut my yarn, leaving a long enough tail to weave in. Pull it through, cinch it up, and then I will get my darning needle, and I will, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to jar you. Let's lay that right up there. Okay. Let me back, it's already backed up. I never did go forward. Sorry about that. Isn't that beautiful, though? I love that yarn, and then the stitch. The stitch is just beautiful, the pattern. So, okay. So all that's left to do is to sew in our ends. and we're good to go. And this washcloth is done. So that's our tutorial for today. And thank you guys for being so supportive and helpful and understanding and just wonderful. I love you and appreciate you so much. And we will talk to you later in Crystal's Crochet Cubbyhole, okay? Bye for now.